I'm MrHartgrave, and it's Morbin time. That's right. Morbius has finally been added to Marvel's Midnight Suns, and this is probably my most anticipated DLC, but I'm like the only one. This game is dead. They had no lead up to this. For the Deadpool thing, they were doing all these vignettes and all this social media work, and then for Venom, a little bit of lead up, some images, some teasers, you know, they did some YouTube content. For Morbius, they just drop it on a random Tuesday, middle of the day. They don't even talk about it. They can't even be bothered to make a post on social media. They can't even be bothered. This game is dead. But Morbius isn't. He's a living vampire. So I'm excited about this as a vampire myself. Morbius is something I'm very curious. I'm thinking that the story is going to be better than the movie. I mean, that's a low bar, right? It's a low bar. All right, but Morbius is unlocked. Let's go play him. I did finally finish out. I did fully power up Venom. I have a fully powered up Venom now. And man, I actually wanted to play with Deadpool more than I did Venom. I don't know. I don't know if Morbius is going to renew my interest in this. I looked at the patch notes. It's going to be a few missions and then nothing. There's no new features being added. There's no continued support for this game. I feel like the best that's going to happen is once the final DLC arrives, Storm, maybe I'll finally do New Game Plus at that point and experience the game, like the complete version of the game without all the pieces cut out, which is what we basically got to play when the game came out. The downloadable content very much feels like it was just pulled out of this game. All right, enough bad mouthing the content. Let's check it out. Weird Science with Morbius. Looks like we're going to play with Blade and Spider-Man as well. I mean, it's very Midnight Suns. Let's check this out. I'm excited about it. I am excited about it. Let's go. Let's check this. And here it is, our first Morbius mission, our first chance to play as the young British Morbius. I don't know about this take on the character. I guess it's good. I really wish Morbius should have been a part of the base experience. I don't think they should have waited on Morbius. Morbius is like as Midnight Suns as you can get. All right, he's got a lot of quick moves. I like that. Target an enemy minion. They attack a random ally. That's fun. Okay, so he's got a little Scarlet Witch kind of mechanic there. He's got Shadow Strike that chains. And he has, if target has bleed, it does more damage. So he's going to pair well with Blade, which is, you know, that's cool. That's kind of what we're looking for. All right, let's go ahead and get out. Let's start using some Morbius. Let's get right. Let's not waste any time. Let's start morbing. Oh, the animations are smooth. I like that. I like his default costume. Big fan. Big fan of what I'm seeing so far. Looking forward to seeing how the cards power up and what kind of mods we can put on them. I'd say I definitely have more enthusiasm for Morbius than a lot of other characters I've seen in this game. Maybe that's just my bias, my vampire bias coming out. Okay, nothing too exciting. I think we're going to chain strike actually here. We can kind of fly all over. I mean, man, he's going to have to be really good. I mean, you can see how good a character like Spider-Man is when he can just fly all over the battlefield, knocking everybody out. Like, Morbius, you're going to need to step it up, man. If you're going to see play in this game, you're going to need to step it up. So, like, his Shadow Strike doesn't have quick. It does have a chain of 3, so I can... no range. It doesn't have enough range to do anything. That's stupid. No, that needs to be better. I mean, granted, it's not powered up yet. I'm trying... I need to put bleed on somebody. I mean, Blade can just off this dude. These enemies are super weak too. This definitely feels like content that should have been a part of the main game again. My characters are way too over leveled for this content.
Give the mother my regards in hell.
Yeah, this feels like it should have been. This is something they pulled out of the main game again instead of something that's like end game content. My biggest complaint about all this downloadable content is that it's not end game. It's all. I don't know. How does this work? How much range does this have? Target an enemy minion, and then he'll just go attack someone else. All right, so just go attack him. Not thrilling. Bloodlust. Gain Bloodlust and gain 160 block for free. What is Bloodlust? Damage abilities and counterattacks. Apply 1 bleed. Removed when he has no block. All right, so he has this Bloodlust mechanic. I'll use that next turn. I don't want to use that now. I'll just throw this guy into Spider-Man. Is that going to be the end of the mission, though? Are we on to the next mission? That was that? Yeah, I'm telling you. I don't like this pulled out of the storyline content instead of endgame content. All right, as is expected, it's a 2-part mission. Most missions, all the story missions in Midnight Suns are 2 parts. And this is no exception. The goal this time around is to protect Morbius's device from the enemies. Let's see if Morbius gets to do anything. All right, I'm going to use this Bloodlust ability. So this is a free card. And it's going to get him Bloodlust, which should power him up and maybe make him more impressive. I like that. All right. And now now he applies bleeds. But he has cards that do damage if people are bleeding. I need heroism. All right, let's do some quick strikes and get some heroism going. And then I guess I'll run around, make everybody bleed, and then exploit the bleed. That's a pretty simple mechanic. Maybe a little too simple. All right, so he's going to bleed. I don't like his lack of range. His lack of range is really bumming me out. For a vampire, you think he would be all over the board, right? But no, he's a short range. Why? All right, so they're like, why not just have fun at this? Why not just make him OP? Your game's done. Why are you limiting Morbius's power? Just let us have fun. All right, why are you balancing this game? If target has bleed, apply, it does more damage, and this is going to apply more bleed. Okay, he's going to take this guy out, which is going to get me a card. All right, that's cool. I feel like Morbius is not going to be a big deal, but who knows? All right, Spider-Man is going to run away. See, when Spider-Man goes, his range is just so much better. He can just kill everybody on the board. Shouldn't Morbius be as good as the characters that you're featuring him with? Wouldn't that be something? Why isn't he as good? All right, so once again, this is what happens when you're in the end game and you're playing content that is made for the middle of the game, is that it's going to, I mean, you know, of course I should take the difficulty all up to maximum, but maybe I'll do that on my playthrough. Maybe when maybe after all the downloadable content's released, I'll do a new game plus, crank the difficulty up, and see what that experience is like. Although I don't know the point of it. Like, do you get anything for it? Like, if you want me to turn the difficulty all the way up on a video game, you got to give me something for it. I'm just, you know, a special skin, an achievement, I don't know, something. We're going to draw some Spooderman cards because Spooderman is a better character than Morbius. We're going to use his special ability because it's awesome. I don't know, man. Maybe after we get to power up Morbius, I'll be more thrilled about it. Strengthen Spider-Man. Spider-Man's going nuts. Spider-Man is going nuts, and now he's just gonna kill everybody. Now Spooderman kills everybody, and there's no other reason for anyone else to take a turn at this point. Death to everyone. Flaming, burning Spider-Man. You can't stop him. There's no one left. Morbius is sassy. I like that. I was noting, so I usually skip the cinematics in these videos. The voice actor for Morbius is like crazy. He sounds like ancient, and then the character model looks like, I don't know, he's in his 20s. It's very off. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying not to hate on Morbius, but it's easy to hate on Morbius. All right, so we're going to use his chain attack, which is of dubious effectiveness. Maybe his ultimate is like so cool that it's all going to make sense. Or maybe he's just going to be incredibly mid. It's hard to say, really. It's hard to say. It's clear from this video, though, that Spider-Man is OP. So that's cool. And that's it. We're done. That's the end of the mission. That's all there is. You know, I'm not surprised your game is dead. Oh, wait, we got one more wave. Okay, I thought the mission was over. It's going to keep going. I don't know why. Give up. Give up. We're going to go ahead and make him. So yeah, you got his default look, the one made for the game, which is great. And then you got his, here is his traditional Batwing look, which is actually pretty close to what they have, but it's the traditional black and red. And then they got this cool Midnight Suns, or whatever this is. Yeah, Midnight Suns look, which I assume is from some comic run that I'm not. He's got like some kind of super Morbius. Yeah, I hope we do get Bloodstorm. And I think his actual like Midnight Sun costume is crap, but all of those are pretty much crap. The Venom one was pretty good. The Venom costume. The Midnight Sun, that's pretty cool. Mystical, magical Venom is pretty cool. Yeah, a lot of Venom's design is really good. They should have put it in the main game. It would have sold more game. But yeah, look at this lineup. Captain America. All of his shit sucks. Fucking Captain Marvel sucks. Iron Man. No fucking way. Hulk. Not interesting. Remove those 4 characters. Deadpool should have always been downloadable content. Keep him out of the main game. I fully agree. Not mad that Deadpool is downloadable content. His downloadable content even felt like a true add-on. It didn't feel as ripped from the game as the other stuff. But when you got Morbius and Venom, they should have been base game. They belonged in the actual crew of this game. They fit more than a lot of characters that were already in here. I mean, I'd say the most egregious are this Captain America. I mean, like, and who even bought this game for Captain America, Captain Marvel, and Iron Man? Nobody bought this game for those 3 characters. That's not a thing that happened. So this downloadable content really feels, I'm at the end of it now. I've had horrible issues filming this video. I had issues. I'm missing some of it. And anyways, this game had horrible issues, so I don't even feel bad putting out a video where I've had issues because this whole game is a mess. And the downloadable content release, like, this feels like it should have been the first downloadable content, followed by Venom, and then maybe followed by Deadpool. So it feels like the downloadable content in this game was this whole release of this game was botched. I'm just trying to enjoy this. I don't want to just be salty this entire time. I do like this game. I like Morbius. He's not a great character in the grand scheme of this game. I think it would have been a lot more fun if he was introduced early on in the game. And it would have helped me enjoy the game so much more if he was as well, because he really embodies what we're doing here. Midnight Suns, the darker side of the Marvel Universe. Morbius is perfect for that and would have been a great starting character to experience this game with. Way better than, Iron Man or whatever characters were unlocked at the start of this game. A whole Spider-Man mission, which, there's a full Spider-Man game to play. We don't need a game we don't need Midnight Suns focused on Spider-Man. We should be focusing on characters like Morbius and Blade, Ghost Rider. So, yeah, I'm disappointed. I've been disappointed by every single downloadable content for this game. This is no different. I'm at the final mission. So there's 2 bosses. Defeat Sin and defeat Dracula. We fight Sin in the Deadpool downloadable content, and we fight Dracula in the Venom content. So we have no new bosses to fight. No new encounters. No new enemy types. We only got enemy types when we first are. All the downloadable content shares the new enemy type of the vampire. Vampire or whatever you want it. Vampire with a Y. There's only one new enemy type in all of the downloadable content. Only 2 new bosses so far. Really lackluster. Not what we expected from Firaxis, though Firaxis entirely has dissolved during the release of this game, so I don't think this went as planned for them either. All right, let's wrap this up. Let's defeat Dracula. Let's do it. Maybe this will be a really creative and interesting boss fight with unique mechanics. Who knows? Highly doubtful. Wow. Wow, man. Just unbelievable. We have some quick attacks here, so I guess we will take out some vampires. I can't believe we're fighting Sin and Dracula again in this downloadable content and that it's not a new boss. It doesn't feel like a continuation of the story from the previous downloadable content. They absolutely feel disjointed at best, out of order at worst. I mean, development must be entirely ceased on this game at this point. Ridiculous. All right. We do have this bloodlust mechanic with Morbius that is maybe one of the most underwhelming mechanics in the whole game, which is saying something really for a lot of uninspired mechanics throughout this game. This is ridiculous. I mean, the game itself has multiple enemy types and it has some good variety in it, but the downloadable contents are just they're not worth the money. Like I've said it before, I'll say it again, wait for the entire game to be out and then make your purchase. Wait until the game is, and this has got to be said of so many games now. Do not buy them on launch. There's no incentive to buy video games at launch and be an early adopter. You're just getting a worse experience for it. It seems to be, the trend now with video game development is to release unfinished products only to finish them later with, expensive downloadable content that doesn't provide value. This is the worst downloadable content yet as far as what you're actually getting. The character is what you're getting, and that's great, but not if there's no game left to play them in. There's no end game to this, so it's not like I have a bunch of cool stuff I can do with Morbius. I can hold out some small hope that maybe, when they release the final downloadable content, that it'll come with some kind of improvement to the overall experience, to the end game, to some kind of game. I don't know. All right, I'm going to drop these bleeds around. I mean, that being said, I really think that Morbius is a great addition to the game. I think it's really cool to see him in here. The design looks fantastic. This game disappoints me so much because it should be so much better. All right, we're going to kill Dracula. I assume we have to knock him out 3 times, as is normally the case with the bosses. Let's go ahead. We have quick on this, so we can take out some of the bigger vampires with Blade. Yeah, of course, this game would have done much better if they would have just focused on the core combat and making a rewarding gameplay loop. They made a very frustrating gameplay loop, which was alienating to a lot of, you know, adult players. And I don't think children really, you know, got into this. I didn't even mean to play that card, quite honestly. I was just going to knock him into this. I think that's it for this turn. And we will carry on to easily defeat Dracula. My chat's saying the game feels immensely rushed. I don't know if it was rushed, it was delayed. The downloadable content feels like it was just shoved out. Like, well, I feel like maybe they spent time making the downloadable content, making this big game, and then they just cut out a whole section of the game, which is what this downloadable content is. Which is the worst way to do it, really. Honestly, the worst way to put out downloadable content is to carve pieces out of the single player experience and then offer them up at $20 a shot for lackluster gaming experiences, which is what this is. That's why this feels so bad. This is not end game. This is stuff that should have been in the regular game. All right, let's go ahead and use the Morbius Blade team up to take out Dracula. At least we'll do the coolest thing possible, which is have Blade and Morbius team up and kick Dracula's ass. This is what Midnight Sun should have been out of the box. This is what I wanted it to be. So at least we're finally getting that. At least it's finally Midnight Suns. In my opinion, this is what we always should have had. And that's it. I beat the end boss of this downloadable content, and maybe we'll get another teaser now. Maybe we'll get some kind of hint at what's in the final downloadable content, the true end of the game.
In the light. We won't ask again.
You won't, but not for the reason you think.
I don't understand. Why aren't you?
To mass produce the serum, you diluted my sample. Yes, it protected you from the sunlight, but each use of your powers burned more of it away. You are, as they say, running on fumes. And when those expire, so do you.
This isn't over.
It is, for now. Unless you'd care to stay for a walk in the park.
Back to the sewer, where he belongs.
Are you disappointed we didn't destroy him?
Nah, he always comes back. But knowing he's got to live with that humiliation almost makes it worth knowing you.
They fucked it up. They straight fucked it up. There's no way that this doesn't come. This is the first downloadable content. This is the first part of the story. We defeated Dracula like for good at the end of the Venom DLC. Am I right, chat? Who was here for that? Am I wrong? Am I remembering things wrong? This comes before that. That's ridiculous. This is absurd. That's it. This is the lightest of the 3 downloadable contents. The best one being Deadpool. And then I'm guessing Storm is going to finish the story. And they say that if you have all 4 downloadable contents, then, all 4 downloadable expansions, that you'll get an extra mission tree, which probably culminates in Doctor Doom, which I hope is goddamn fantastic. But this has been frustrating. And yeah, my chat's verifying. Yeah, we took him out in Venom. So playing this now, it's so frustrating. It's so irritating that they couldn't even release the downloadable content in chronological order. So as someone who has beaten the story, there was no reason to buy this game on launch and not just wait until it's all there and then play it. And then the difficulty curve will make sense because, yeah, this was so lightweight. Like, even if I cranked the difficulty all the way up, this would by far have been the easiest mission types. The bosses were paper thin, the enemies, there was nothing intricate to do. There were harder missions in the main game. So there is in no way that this is end-game content or a reward for having beaten the game and now you're going to play a little more. No, this is content that was absolutely ripped out of the retail version and then being sold at at what is a high price for... I wouldn't even mind paying the $20 for Morbius since he's so cool, except there is literally nothing to do. All I can do is play the same handful of missions. At least with the first downloadable content, it felt like I was getting a lot new because I got all the new vampire missions. But there are no new missions being added with each downloadable content. I basically got everything with the Deadpool downloadable content. There's nothing new happening now. There's no new features. I have some extra Abby add-ons that don't really amount up to anything. Morbius's add-on is really pretty pointless as far as adding extra abilities onto your heroes. They're kind of just like the perks you get from training. And now they're going to deplete your gold, which I don't even know what you're going to use that on anymore. They could have done such minimal things to have this be engaging for months after you beat the game. Having a boss rush mode. Just being able to play the boss missions over again would have been fantastic. The best thing you can get is that sometimes when you're playing one of these missions, for no reason, one of the bosses will show up and you can beat them up a little bit. But you can't, the only way to replay the game is to replay the game in full, reliving all of the lackluster parts in between. The Abby exploration that was so irritating. The unskippable dialogues and... honestly, I found this story to be rather grating. I know some people are really into this sort of thing, but when we can watch any movie, that has been made from the history of time at our fingertips on various streaming services, the story in this game I did not feel was engaging. It was honestly geared towards a younger audience, in my opinion, and not really towards someone of, older than their 20s, perhaps. If it resonated with you, that's great. But I feel like this game missed the mark in so many ways. And then this downloadable content is just more of the same. And that's about all I got to say about that. I guess we'll be back here again for Storm, everybody. A lot of other videos on this channel. If you want to see the rest of my Midnight Suns coverage, make sure you check it out. And grave diggers, keep digging.
Come on, to this blasphemous brawl. Dance with the dead and catch your fill of it all.